Paltrocast.
Aside from having to talk to me, good day for you so far, Josh.
Yeah, just been doing a lot of press for the buildup of the record release, which is June 2nd, Volume 10, our 10th record, and we're very excited.
Yeah, Volume 10, in a good way, and this is a compliment, is a return to form. I say that as somebody who loved the first Buckcherry record. I interviewed Keith on the first album cycle. That's scary to think that that's just about 25 years ago. And
right. Yeah,
I've always contended that Buckcherry had the best comeback story of any band that had a couple of hits. So when that happened in 05, 06, 07, did you really think that the band was going to go another 15 plus years?
I didn't look that far ahead. I try to stay in the moment. I just take it like tour by tour, record by record, and it just, we're always constantly, moving forward as far as like always thinking about the next record while we're winding up a tour for, the record before. And,
Right.
So time starts flying by, and then before you know it, you're dropping your 10th record and you're like, wow, this is crazy. Super grateful. It's, as you know, it's very hard to have longevity in this business. So, we're just riding a wave.
Before I ask more questions about Volume 10, this is a compliment. And I don't know if you want a compliment or two, but you still sound exactly like you did on the first record. You look exactly like you do on the first record. How is this happening? Is there a team behind you? Are you secretly like a Pilates guy or something?
No. First of all, thanks for the compliment. I'll take it. I think, clean living really helps. I haven't touched a drink or a drug for 28 years, so that probably helps. And, performing Buckcherry is very physically demanding. So that always keeps me in shape, along with a lot of other things. I've always been very physically active in my life. So, yeah, I think all that helps me stay young. Show business keeps you young for sure.
There's this video that I saw online of somebody following you to your backstage routine before you get on stage. I was surprised to see that you were using Lit Up as part of your vocal warm-ups. Is that still the case?
Oh, I don't know. That was like old. I must have been really old. No, I do just vocal scales to warm up, and then I don't sing about 10 minutes before I walk on, and then I just sing, and then I warm down after. And this has been the warming down process has been in my life now for a long time, like probably 15 years, and it's so crucial. And anyways, my voice changed at like 40. All of a sudden it just wasn't snapping back like it used to. And so you gotta work harder the older you get, as far as maintaining your voice, always vocalizing, always kind of working that muscle, because you don't want to lose it.
Yeah. So Volume 10, it's great to hear the open G tuning back on some of the songs, the original keys that we love from Buckcherry. Do you remember the first song that you recorded or at least wrote for the record?
For this record, well, we had a little bit of spillover from the Hellbound sessions. We had some demos, and a couple of those made the record. But I think the first song that we wrote with Marty, because Marty and I and Stevie went in and did a guerrilla songwriting session. I think it was Shine Your Light was the first. Shine Your Light was like the first song that we wrote together. And we wrote about 8 songs together in 9 days. And it was we got really good chemistry, me, Marty, and Stevie. It's going good. Hellbound was the same way. We got in the room and wrote I think we wrote 8 songs back then too.
When it comes to songwriting sessions that have multiple writers, you find out this is the top line person, this is the person working the engineering board, et cetera. What do you usually bring to the table? I would assume you're the top line guy.
What I bring to the table are lyrics and melodies. That's what I've done my whole career. Every word you've heard about Buckcherry came from me, and that's the way I've done it since I was 15. I want to be attached to it personally like that in order to be able to sing it with passion every night. I know some singers, they don't need that. They can just go sing anything. They just want to sing, and that's fine, but that's not not why I got into this. I like I like writing songs. I like performing them. I like working on my voice, all that stuff, real student of the game in that way,
Yeah.
and, so was that the question? Was that a good answer?
I think that's a pretty good answer. Sometimes you find that the person singing isn't necessarily the top line person, but you are the top line melody lyrics person in
I
this
don't know
case.
what you mean about top line. We're all involved in, like when Marty and I and Stevie get in the room, sometimes Marty comes up with a melody that I really like and I write lyrics over his melody. That happened with a song called Feels Like Love, I had written a melody and then he came and I was working in my hotel room and then he sent me a voice note. He's like, I had this melody in mind and it was better than mine. So I used his, so sometimes that happens. But ultimately I write the words for sure. Yeah.
So
And
the
there's no top line guy. When we write songs, it's really about serving the song, whatever we do whatever is best to get the best songs at that time.
best idea wins. That's what I'm hearing.
That's correct.
Okay. Well, another thing that I'm curious about is when you have a magnetic frontman, and I'm calling you the magnetic frontman, you didn't call yourself that. Usually you'll find that they put on the guitar for one song during the show, and sometimes it looks really awkward. We
Right.
don't really see you put on the guitar for one song. Are
No.
you a guitar player, or what do you usually write on?
I play guitar very basically. I'm not a great guitar player. I play enough to write songs, that's how Sorry started. That's how Check Your Head started.
Oh,
Yeah, I have no desire to do that. I mean, being a front man and doing what I do, singing and dancing and just the vocals in this band are so demanding that I don't want to have another thing to think about, and I don't need to do that for whatever reasons. I mean, maybe some singers think they have to do that to show people that they can play the guitar or whatever. I don't know what that's all about, but I've never felt like I had the need to do that, I got two great guitar players in this band, Stevie D and Billy Rowe, and they do a great job. So I let them do their thing.
right. Now, were you a guitar player all along, or is that something that you picked up on later so you could write?
I just picked it up so I could write. My sister is 2.5 years older than me, and she had a singer boyfriend way back in the day when I was 17, and his name is Peter, very nice guy. And anyways, eventually I was a roommate. We all lived in an apartment together, and I had him teach me chords on the guitar. And so that's when I started learning how to just play chords so I could write songs. And that was it.
Were you originally a drop D guitar player to make it easier?
No, just standard tuning. And that's how I started.
Got it. Are there leftovers from the Volume 10 sessions, meaning songs that could wind up on your 11th album?
There's always leftovers, but they're left over for a reason. They didn't make the record because they weren't good enough, So sometimes, usually we just don't ever revisit old songs, but we did on this particular record. We had some spillover from Hellbound, and there was two songs that I thought would be great, or Marty thought This or That was like a great song, and we all thought it was too, but it was really high in my register at that time. I said, let's change the key because I don't even think I can sing this live. It's so high up, it's like you can record a song and then, you're only recording it in sections. So when you wind up trying to do the whole song, it's like really hard. So you have to make sure you are careful with that. And so we changed the key and it was like right in my wheelhouse. And we didn't really change the arrangement of that one. But then there was a song, Turn It On. And I played it for Marty and I go, listen, this chorus is so good, but the rest of the song needs work, so, and he agreed and he liked it. And so we worked on that. We just like basically rewrote the whole song around the chorus. And that's how Turn It On made the record. But usually we always start from scratch.
The last time I had the pleasure of interviewing you, the new project was Spray Gun War. Is that officially dead?
Oh, that's a long time ago. No, we that was a fun project for Stevie and I. We're big fans of electronic music, and we just wanted to make something like that, to kind of put a little rock flavor in there and have electronic beats, and we made an EP, and it was fun. And like I said, and then we eventually made Josh Shot in the Conflict. That record was a lot of fun to make. Maybe sometime if I have time, but we just don't have any time.
Right. When I look at your career, it's not just the 10 studio records that you've done over the last 20-ish years. You have more acting credits than a lot of actors that we see on television. You probably have SAG insurance at this point in time between the new
Yeah.
guy, The Shield, Banger Sisters, Bones,
Yep.
The Steel Life, which randomly my friend Joel wrote. But is acting something that you want to do more of in the future if you had time?
I really love it. I don't have an agent right now. I need an agent. That would be great. I enjoy the process. I would like to be challenged a little more. I never got that opportunity to kind of put my 2 cents into a character. There was a TV show called Push Nevada where I had a reoccurring role, and it was this character Job, and I kind of started, developing my own character because I was in it every episode, and then it got canceled. So I would like to play a real dark character in some kind of film. That would be cool. But then again, it's like finding the time for sure.
Yeah, you only have volume 10 to be pushing over the next 2 years as
Right.
so are you
That's right.
playing a lot of volume 10 on the upcoming tour dates? And I ask that because at this point in time, Buckcherry probably has 20 charting singles. And if you're going to do 15 to 20 songs, there's the battle of that and one or two covers
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah, it's really hard, but I feel like now we finally, with Hellbound and Volume 10, we finally have the ammunition for an arena rock show, a show that's got no fillers, where it's just so amazing. And I have all the ammunition to like really build a set that's epic, and we've already played a lot of these songs live: Shine Your Light, Let's Get Wild, Good Time. And we've done Pain and Feels Like Love. Those songs are amazing for the set, So yeah, we'll be playing all kinds of stuff.
The last two questions before I let you go. The first one is in the old original Buckcherry bio. I remember being said that you were named after a drag queen named Buckcherry. Was that true?
Yeah.
Or was that just a good story for the time?
No, it's true. Drag queen used to bum cigarettes off Keith at our local shows. This is before we were called Sparrow at the beginning. That was the name of the band. The Finch of the Songbird, and we always thought that was cool. And then there was a Christian rock label called Sparrow Records, and we couldn't use it for copyright reasons. That's why we had to start playing the name game. And we couldn't decide on anything. And we're making our first record, and it was becoming just a nightmare. And at that time, Keith was reading a book about Chuck Berry's life. And Chuck Berry had a quote in there. He's like, record labels will try to make you do all kinds of things you don't want to do, like turn your name upside down, like Buckcherry. And we were like, there it is again. How is that possible? Like, and we wanted a name that was just easy to remember and kind of had a thing. And it was just perfect. So we went with it.
And then the last question I have for you, Wikipedia mentions that during COVID-19 that you were trained to draw blood from people. Is that true? Yes. Or is that a fallacy? Oh, so you can do that.
Yes, a licensed phlebotomist. I am. Yeah. And yeah, I was going bananas, man. I work a lot. I'm a workaholic, so when music was on the back burner, it was like I hung out for a little bit, and then it was like I got to do something. I got to get to work. And I did a lot of other things, not just phlebotomy, but I mean, that was I got really interested in it because I go to a place called Quest Diagnostics.
Yes.
That's where I get my blood. That's where I get my blood taken every year for my blood panel, my physical. And so anyways, they have the best phlebotomists there. I don't know if you've gotten blood drawn there, but I mean, they're drawing blood all day. That's all they do. So they're really good at it as far as very little pain. They can always find a vein, So anyways, this big, tall, tattooed dude came in and drew my blood, and I literally couldn't feel it, and I'm watching his whole process, and I just became super interested in it. I get interested in really odd things, and that was just one thing that I was really interested in. So I started talking to him about, hey, when did you get into this? And you're amazing. Like, I couldn't even feel that. And like, how did you get so good? And then he started talking to me about the whole, the art form behind phlebotomy, because there's some really good ones and that do it for a career, and so I got into it, and I was like, I went to a school for 2 weeks, and
Wow.
I'm getting stuck by students like 6, 7 times a day, and I'm sticking them. And it's like, we look like junkies at the end of it. You know, we had just, bandages all over our arms and stuff, but it was, and then you have to pass a national exam. And I had to do, I had to do an internship at a medical facility and all of that. And then I worked for 4 months at a COVID clinic in downtown LA. And I would draw blood for people who wanted, they wanted to know if they had antibodies of COVID and all, those who had already had COVID, So you had to test your blood.
So what I'm hearing is you can add another thing to the VIP meet and greet packages where the person
I'll
gets their
stick
blood
ya.
drawn by you for the extra $100.
Yeah, I don't know what that would be. You got to be careful. They'd have to sign a waiver, I think, something like that. For sure.
Well, before I let you go, it sounds like you have to be on that list. When they do the rock stars with the PhDs and the secret intellect, they always go Dexter from The Offspring, the Greg from Bad Religion. I guess.
Oh yeah, doesn't he? He's a pilot, right?
He's a pilot, and I think he has a
Yeah.
PhD in dinosaur stuff, paleontology.
That's dope. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, you know
Josh,
what? It's great. It's great to learn. Like I love learning stuff outside of music because it really it's peaceful for me. It takes me away from music. I've been doing music since I was 15, and
Yeah.
it consumes me, and I have to like get away from it sometimes. And I got really into tennis like 3 going on 4 years ago, and that really is like my that's what I do for a hobby now, and it really it takes everything for me to try to win a match, and I love that aspect of it. It's like a chess game.
Paltrocast.